like missed like the really good part though.
The really good part, and
because this is our car edition because we took our show on the road.
We took our show on the road. Yes, yes. Famous B here, Ray Rosas here, still of course, and we took our show on the road. We're actually doing what professional wrestlers do. As you can see, we're in the car. We are on the road where we spend the majority of our time, the majority of our weekends. And Ray, I know you've seen a lot of roads, so have I. And this is the life of a professional wrestler. And since we're on the road and we're talking about the road and everything, and you know, we're on our way to a show doing what we do best every weekend. This is our life. I mean, what's your experience has been like on the road so far? And just, I mean, any road stories, anything interesting? I know you've been way up north to Oregon and things like that. But I mean, you spend a lot of time on the road, even going to our PWR trips up there with Gabe Ramirez.
Yeah, very true.
Even doing Vendetta, going up to Santa Maria and
you know what? And
cities like that.
And it's those shows that are way up there that draw the most. I'll never know why.
Right. Oh, okay. Look, see, I'll flip the cam back to me and I'll tell you why. Well, see, the thing is that there's absolutely nothing to do in those towns like Atascadero. What is there to do in Atascadero? So, of course, the whole community comes out. And, of course, you got to give credit to a lot of the promoters because I know that these shows are also very well promoted. They do a lot of radio and things like
they
that.
They have a lot of good sponsorships.
And it's good sponsorships. You know, I give much props to Gabe Ramirez up north, Pro Wrestling Revolution, because he's always working, staying consistent, working hard, one of the affiliates of the NWA. And he's just always on it. But, I mean, it's good sponsorship. And, once again, it's just doing shows in towns where, you know, a carnivore fair is a really big deal. And the entire city comes out. So it's pretty much the same with the wrestling up there in those cities. Would you say, Ray?
Yeah, definitely. I guess it's just good promotion. And, like I said, good promotion. And just there's nothing really to do up there. I spent a lot of time on the road. I spent a lot of time in this car. This car right now, we're in my car.
This is the Ray Rosas mobile right here, ladies and gentlemen.
That needs a car wash, oil change, and brand new brakes.
As you can see, we're bumping 92.3.
Yeah, listen to some Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey. Can't you tell we're still in California because 9 out of 10 times 92.3 doesn't work on his car because of where he's at times.
Yeah, I like listening to the oldies and stuff. I listen to sort of the wave because I listen to, if you listen to like, what is it? 97.1, what's that one?
Was that Amp?
Amp.
There you go.
Amp and Kiss and...
what about Power 106?
Power 106.
106.
And 99.1 KGGI. They play the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They play the same stuff over and over again, so I get kind of sick of it. So when I'm listening to the oldies station, you don't really hear the same stuff over and over again. And so that's why I've kind of... I spend a lot. That's why I like know the words to like every single song in the world because I'm always driving and listening to the radio. So.
See, that's what wrestling will do to you. You'll know your music. There's two things in this world you'll be good at. Just knowing your music and professional wrestling, I'll tell you that.
But it's in the car where wrestlers, I think, really develop their strong bonds because they're just on the road for hours and hours.
Right. That's why you get the brotherhoods and the...
Like, when we drove up to Oregon, we left on Thursday night from Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up getting into Oregon, and we were at Portland. Getting to Portland, Oregon, I want to say afternoon on Friday. So we drove all night, right? And I drove the first leg from Ontario all the way to Sacramento.
Wow.
Right, and we had to make a stop.
You're on a mission.
We had to make a stop and pick up Brian Taylor. But, like, it was such a long drive, and I had Rick Ellis in the car, and I'll tell you this right now, and I don't know if I've been putting over Rick wherever I go, wherever I'm on, whether it's my blog or whatever, but Rick Ellis is the most funniest individual I've ever met, like, that's outside of the ring. Inside of the ring, he's serious as hell, but outside the ring, did I say that right? Inside the ring, he's serious as hell, but outside the ring, he's a
goofball. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
I know Rick Ellis. Rick Ellis is a goofball. He's always messing around.
I've had really good matches with Rick Ellis, some of my favorites, but he became my friend when we went that drive to Oregon.
Right.
And I remember what time he freaked out because we finally found a 24-hour Taco Bell. Like, I mean, he freaked out. He was yelling at the top of his lungs. rolled down the window, stuck half his little body out, and was just yelling at the top of his lungs. And we had a group of guys in a car behind us, and he was just like signaling to go over, and oh, it was hilarious. And then like we finally got there, and he got it, and we had to stop like every other stop so he can take a shit. But the drive back was the greatest because we had.
I bet he did eating all that Taco Bell.
Yeah.
That's his favorite spot too.
You know, that's the thing about high protein diets, man. It's just what happens.
It just goes right through you. Huh?
But the drive back from Oregon was the funniest. Is because it was me, Ryan Taylor, Peter Avalon, Rick Ellis, and Eddie Mattson from UWF. Now, if you guys know Eddie Mattson, then I'm sorry. You can get to know Eddie Mattson, but it was so. It was. Like at one point, I don't even know if I don't even know if I want to talk about certain stuff because like, is it illegal? Like if I talk about I was driving unsafe? Like, no, but then Rick Ellis is calling people in the middle of the night, pretending to be Stone Cold, telling them that he just signed with TNA and saying that Dixie Carter wanted this person. Like he called Aaron Bolo. So, Aaron Bolo, big fan of your work. And then we crossed state lines without any shirts.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was a fun trip. I had a lot of fun on that one. But that's where all the bonds were made, just on the trip. The wrestling, of course, is there because you're going to be trusting this person with your life.
Right.
You know, but the road stories are where you're going to have a lot of your fun too. And a lot of your bonds are made. And what about you, B? You traveled across the country.
Yes, I have. No, but I've had great times on the road thus far. I mean, like Ray said, traveling across the country, just going to New York a couple times actually for 2 different promotions. One being the Urban Wrestling Federation, the UWF, you know what I mean? It's a man's game now, you know what I'm saying? Famous B, Urban Wrestling Federation. I was in there, I did that, representing Colton City, 40 God crew, you know what I mean? We was in there, we was making it happen, you know? The Hammerstein Ballroom Arena. We was down there getting it in a few months back, you know, which is actually airing on pay-per-view September 25th. Check it out, 2011. Hood Justice, Famous B, myself, Willie Mack, Scorpio Sky, the Black G's, and Bandito Jr. We did a 5-way. So, you know, it was crazy. It was insane. It was off the hook, you know. We did it big, you know, and it's cool because you know, I was able to go in there and do my thing, and I was able to do it raw, you know what I mean? And it was cool being a part of the original part of something which is going to be the next success in professional wrestling, you know what I mean?
Oh, I feel
Just to say that, you know, I'm on that the original roster, you know what I mean? It's like one of the things in history, you know, that my name is etched in history already, you know what I mean? So we did that. But yeah, a great experience is traveling. I've had so much fun just going up north with Rico, you know, for Pro Wrestling Revolution. Even when I traveled to New York for the UWF, you know, I just had a ball, you know, had a good time.
But do you have any interesting road stories? Any funny or scary stuff? Like you've gone over for East Coast Lucha Libre. You've gone over for urban wrestling, and I noticed how you went all urban. You know, talking about it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because that's my Urban Wrestling Federation voice. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I talk about the UWF, you know what I mean? That's my Urban Wrestling deal. You know what I mean? So that does that.
Well, it does that. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, homie.
Urban Wrestling Federation, you dig? You gotta catch it pay-per-view, like I said before. You know, Ray loves that. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets a kick out of that.
I do. But what about any good road stories? Anything funny happen over there in New York? I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I was hoping to go with the East Coast Lucha Libre company that was going on with Angel.
Right.
But nothing ever went through. You know, nothing. I mean, nothing. I feel like I missed out on something, but. It still seems like a good experience. I mean, you were right there, like, with Madison Square Garden across the street?
Right across the street. Yeah. Madison Square Garden. Right across the street. You know, I mean, just road stories is just cool, you know what I mean? You know, when we first got there, we pulled up in New Jersey. And we flew out to New Jersey. And, you know, we got the Navy limo, you know, came to the airport, swooped us up or whatnot. It was me, Willie, and we was with Carnage. Few other guys. And so we rolled up to the airport. Navy limo came, picked us up, drove us from the New Jersey airport all the way to Manhattan, actually, to New York. So it was a pretty good ride just on the way, just seeing things I never seen before. You know what I mean? Like the Statue of Liberty or whatnot. From a distance or whatnot on the freeway.
And here's a crazy concept that and it might blow your mind a little bit. It's just like there you are, you're in a limo. Right?
Yep.
You're in a limo.
A Navy limo. It was a Navigator limo. It wasn't just any limo.
All right.
It was a Navy limo.
All right. Well, Navy limo. You're in a limo in New York to wrestle there.
Yep.
Does that blow your mind? Because a few years ago you had your first match in New Hall, in American Legion Hall.
Yeah, it actually does. Because you're right, I was in the American Legion Hall or whatnot, starting off just a short couple years ago, and here it is, to be in a
there's
big
no disrespect
city.
to Legion Halls. I'm not trying to. I just mean because I'm sure it blows your mind because you would never picture yourself. This is the kind of stuff that where wrestling takes you, because wrestling, you take your wrestling, and sometimes wrestling takes you places.
Right.
Like I remember, like I said. Just I've been training 2 years of backyard wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Backyard wrestling from my grandma's house with all my friends in high school. Never in my wildest dreams I thought that I'd actually be wrestling on TV. I'd have my very own fans and or have be on TV. People know who I am, and you're going all these places. It's a mind trip, right? And for you, I can imagine going over there to New York. And now you're in New York, and you're in this limo, right? And you're getting this chance to wrestle in the Hammerstein Ballroom, right? And wow, I mean, I can't even imagine. That's a head trip within itself.
You know what? It was. I mean, it really was. It was just like, wow, this is. It's a historical place. I mean, just coming up from someone who, used to watch the very first tapings of Monday Night Raw in the same building, back in 1993 when it came on, and just to be there and just to think about moments that I remember happening in certain areas of the building and to be able to go over there and walk over there and just be like, oh, well, this is where this happened at and this is where that happened or whatnot. And even thinking back to the ECW days when they used to run in the Hammerstein. It's just like, wow, I'm here, you know what I mean? But like you said, though, it is a trip. It is like, I can't believe it, I'm here. But at the same time, you go back and you think about all the push-ups that we had to do, all the squats we had to do, all the mile runs we had to do, all the training, all the bumps week after week, especially me, you, we were the type of guys who, we were there consistently. And for those of you who don't know, consistency is a big key in professional wrestling, because if you're not consistent, that means that you're not on the top of your game. And in order to do things like this, to go places like this, you have to be on the top of your game.
Yeah, you kind of have to expect to be there to get there.
Exactly.
Like he was kind of leading to.
Exactly. You gotta see yourself
but
there.
You kind of have to sacrifice. You really have to work for it. You can't get anything for free. I mean, and sometimes I do think we were a little spoiled. When it came to we got a chance to wrestle in XPW, the 10th anniversary, and others, among other things. But
we were good though. We were good. We got a chance to wrestle on those shows, But we brought the house down on those shows, so we did our part.
All of us as a group that were on that show, we all came together, and we definitely earned the spot that we were given.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. She's right outside waiting. Love it.
Oh, where are we at now? What is this? Are we picking someone up? What?